Mark Minster, Corpus Christi. So the most common thing of when I'm talking about anti-desal that people say is, we need the water. So who is we? When I explain that residents don't actually use the water that this is intended for, it's only gonna be an industrial demand, you say, well, we do need the jobs, and there's a ghost town fallacy that without industry, without these jobs, the city is nothing, and that people will leave, etc. But Corpus Christi is a geographically gifted city and a gem on the Texas coast. I don't know what city on the coast is better, with the bayfront and beaches. This is in spite of our current and past industrial model and the increased pollution and the pollution that's been here and the exploitation of our natural resources. I think it's still a great place to live. The ghost town threat is a scare tactic that ignores the city's value beyond being a petrochemical town. A ghost town is more likely if we center our economy on a dying industry and laying out the red carpet for polluters with the IDA agreements. And I say dying industry because if you say that any of these projects are scientifically sound, then you need to follow the science on the way our planet is changing and the way it will change in the future. And it's like being stuck in a toxic relationship where they'd say, you'd be nothing without me. That narrative prevents the community from seeking healthier opportunities. Oh, I just turned it off. Okay, so economic development at what cost? What is the full cost of these IDAs? Environmental, social, increased reliance on industry, human health, animals, ecosystems. How many gallons of water or kilowatts of energy are required per worker for each of these jobs, and does it still make sense? What's the impact on traffic, noise, air quality, the aesthetics? Is there accountability to ensure that these are even being properly collected? These jobs and subsidies directly reduce public revenue that would fund parks, libraries, public transit, social services. And every budget, there's libraries that risk being closed, and our public services suffer, making it seem boring or like there's nothing to do here. And people leave already to seek new opportunities because of pollution, or they feel there's nothing to do, or for poor infrastructure. And the public pays twice. Once when subsidizing these rates because they don't use the water, and then through the property taxes, through the IDAs, they don't get the same breaks. And so yeah, this screenshot is from the Corpus Christi Regional Economic Development Corporation, and the discussion about these water projects are for future projects, not what's already here. The jobs that are here, they already use that water. We're not talking about those. This is for if this water makes sense for the future. So the lost revenue over the IDAs, I'm just gonna skip to the last slide because I wanted to get to this one. So you saw this slide when you were voting on the water increases, and you had to decide if you were gonna, how much you were gonna increase the water rates, and you were discussing not funding $4.3 million for residential infrastructure, but you wouldn't fund that without raising people's rates. But so you're threatening, oh, if we don't increase your rates, the residential infrastructure is we're not gonna fund it. And that just shows that you're not prioritizing residents. And I mean, of course we know this is gonna come back. The big picture here is oil and gas lobbying. It's not just a discussion between neighbors that have a different view of our future from the city. We know what we're up against, and people and planet over profits.
Thank you, Mark Munster.